home.
You should go up.
Last year I lost so much money on the Bears. I called up the hotline, 1-800-GAMBLER, and they transferred me to the Hollywood Casino. I got so depressed I called up 1-800-SUICIDE, and they transferred me to 1-900-JUMP-NOW. White men can't jump. Then I called up 1-800-HOTLINE, HOTLINE. That's an actual phone number. It's for people that are allergic to calling hotlines.
Give me 1 sec, please.
That's pretty good, right? 3 of them. But there's more. I called 1-800-GOT-MILK because I'm milking this joke to death. Okay? Yeah, that's what I do. We did about 10 shows here last year. Karolinka's, Ursula, owned it 20 years. Great Kitchen now. New management. It's exciting. Brian and Yanya, they're making a lot of changes, adding to it. Last week they had Sam Ocean on Friday night, a musical performer. They had Casey Blues Band and an AC/DC cover band last week. And tonight comedy. We better not suck, right? Wow. But it's show business, baby.
Thank you, buddy.
It's show business. There's no business like show business. Like I can't sing or dance. But that reminds me, there was this guy, Matt. He worked for the circus. And his job was cleaning out the elephant dung. You know, piles of elephants. He was always bitching and complaining about his job. So someone asked him, Matt, if you hate your job so much, why don't you just quit? And he said, what, and leave show business? I love that joke. Don't worry, folks, it's going to get younger. We started with the old guy here. Don't worry. It's going to get a lot younger. A few years ago, I transitioned into being a senior citizen. There was no pronouns involved, just nouns. Like no more Mr. Watson. Now it's, hey, you old fart. But give me the pronouns. Call me he, them, they, it. Call me it. I'll be it, huh? You know. Now, a host and MC, when he opens up, he's supposed to try to raise the energy level. I'm just, what energy? I want to raise energy prices. Because I own stocks in the energy. I'm in the 1%. Not really, I'm a day trader, which means I'm broke, okay? 90% of traders are broke. And 90% of the comedians are broke. So I'm a comic and a trader, and I've done the math. I'm 180% broke. I'm telling you guys, we have a list from here to Washington, D.C. of comics. We're going to be bringing them up here. They're from all over Chicagoland. They've done shows at Laugh Factory, different venues, and it's all good. Thanks for coming out. Give it up for yourself for coming out to see live comedy. Yeah. Since you're going to be seeing my goofy mug all night, I should address this. My dental situation, which is called not having any teeth. I blame it on my dentist, Dr. Gingivitis. He was named after a disease. Not for curing it, he's been spreading it. This guy was bad. His dental chair was like a worn out lazy boy from the Salvation Army. His air compressor was like from Home Depot. And his dental tools were from like a yard sale. This guy, he was a quack. And I have the proof. He only took Aflac insurance. Quack, 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 quack. Okay guys, I'm taking the ball for the show. It's going to be a good one, and we're going to kick it off right now with a guy we call DVR. Give it up, a warm hand for David Diego Rodriguez.
All right, thank you for that warm welcome. And so we're giving you live comedy starting with a couple of old guys. Here we are, right? So it's nice to see Latinos at a Polish bar. Drinking Polish beer. Next week I'm going to Poland, so this is a nice warm up. Oh, I really have a little copy. So anyway, I'm really happy to be here because I'm married with children and I enjoy speaking for 5 minutes uninterrupted. Yeah, I'm not allowed to speak at home. So forgive me that I'm speaking complete sentences, you know. One time I lost my voice for 3 days and no one in my family even noticed. Yeah, so I would have been perfect for that movie, A Quiet Place. I would have remembered all that. So I have an Alexa. Alexa listens to me. Yeah. So I said, Alexa, play some coffee house music. And she says, regular or decaf? And my wife comes running in and she says, I hear you talking to your girlfriend. And I'm like, no, listen. Alexa's playing decaffeinated music. And she's like, let me try. And Alexa wouldn't respond to her, but she was saying, Alex? And I'm like, no, her pronouns are she, her. And she was talking to the toaster. So doesn't respond, right? So, but yeah, my wife gets jealous. Anybody here have a Kindle e-reader? When I first got mine, oh, you have one? All right. Intelligent man. No, well, my wife, when I first got it, she picked it up and she thought it was a dating app. And she says, who is Emily Dickinson? And why is she writing me poetry? So,
911.
I thought he was going to call for me. So anyway, yeah, so how many Latinos are we have here? You know, according to Fox News, there should be a lot more of us here. So anyway, yeah, but I am Mexican. I identify as Mexican. And I do, but I hate when people tell me, why don't you go back where you came from? You know, and I'm like, what? I should go back to New Jersey? I was born in New Jersey, right? And, well, my family's from Mexico. Well, when we were little, one time immigration picked up my brother. They stopped him coming home from school and they asked him, where were you born? And he said, Mexico. And so they took him off to wherever they took him. And then hours later, they bring him back and my mother had to show documentation that he was here legally. And my mother got so mad, she told us, don't ever tell anyone you were born in Mexico. So that's why I always say I was born in New Jersey. But a lot of people don't believe that I'm Mexican, you know, because I'm not brown. I'm more like beige, you know. But I hate when people call me cracker. You know? I'm more like a gray cracker, you know. You got a little bit of color there, right? And but I do come from a small Mexican family of 6 children. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, because my mother's family and my father's family, they each had 15 children. So because my mother only had 6 children, she tells everyone that she's a virgin. So anyway, but growing up Mexican, I heard a lot of derogatory things about Mexicans. Some of you probably experienced it, right? Like I go to the library and I hear, oh, Mexicans don't read books. I started playing sports. Oh, Mexicans don't play ice hockey. I joined the Boy Scouts. Oh, Mexicans don't go camping. And that was just my mother. She didn't want to pay for anything. But I do speak English thanks to my mother. Because when I was little, every time I spoke Spanish, she would tell me, "You're in America, speak English." But she always said it in Spanish. Because I speak Spanish, my job now, I'm a Spanish teacher, and I love teaching Spanish. But some of these students I get, they take Spanish because they think it's the easiest language to learn. They think all you have to do is add the letter O to any English word and get Spanish. So one time there's a commotion in the back of the classroom, and I asked, "What's going on?" And the student says, "My book." I'm like, "No, say this in Spanish." It says, "El boco fell." "Do you know anything else in Spanish?" He says, "And Bingo was his name." And when I first started teaching, the students would mess with me as a new teacher. And so sometimes they would, one student says, "How do you say?" And I said, "No, this is a Spanish class. You gotta start off, ¿Cómo se dice?" Right? And okay, ¿Cómo se dice burrito? I'm like, that's already in Spanish. Did you notice that it ended in the letter O? And then they would ask me, so they would ask me weird things like, "How do you say jazz hands in Spanish?" And all I can think of is manos de flamenco. You know? And the other one too was, one time they said, "Oh, se dice bootylicious." I'm like, bootylicious? Sometimes I like to ask students why they study Spanish, and I hear all kinds of interesting answers, like Spanish is a beautiful language, my girlfriend's family speaks Spanish, or I'm Latino and I can't speak Spanish. We all know. And one time, one student told me, at the restaurant where I work, all the cooks speak Spanish. He worked at P.F. Chang's. And after the 6th week of the semester, he asked me, "What kind of Spanish are you teaching us?" I still don't know what the cooks are saying. And I can't find any of the words in the dictionary. I said, "What are they telling me?" And he said, he tells me, and I'm like, "Oh, they're swearing." They want you to work harder. Well, I'm getting older, and I'm expanding like the universe. You don't know that much. But I no. So I used to have a 6-pack, and now it's a 10, But I don't complain because the only thing I have that's paid for. And I know I'm slowing down. My neighbor told me, "I saw you walking the other morning." And I was offended because I was actually running. And then the car pulled him over to offer me a ride home. And my wife wanted me to dye my hair so I looked younger. And I said, "No, I want people to know that I have suffered." I'm suffering right now. And as I'm getting older, my taste in women is changing. The other night I'm watching TV, late at night, this woman comes on. Wow, she's hot. She is so sexy. It was flow the Progressive Insurance.
You don't like Vikings here?
Now I keep fantasizing about bundling with flow. I'm gonna buy my wife one of those outfits.
You don't like Vikings, girl? Nikki, come on. He's waiting here.
He's been waiting here.
I don't tell the joke that I was still playing it after the show. One guy that comes up to me.
You
I told him out. Every show, one guy goes, "Yeah, I know what you mean." And I want my wife for Halloween to dress up as sexy. No, but my wife. Oh yeah, she wants me to go to yoga with her. Yoga. Try to be a good husband and go with her, right? And have to do the sauna. They tell us, the yoga instructor, do this, do that, do that. And I obey every instruction, and then my wife gets mad because you never listen to me like that. And then at the end of the class, we have a little meditation, and I fall asleep. You were smart. So yeah, my wife is Polish, that's what I'm Polish, she's Catholic, she sings in the church choir. I met her on Thank you so much. And she told me she was a virgin because she had one son. He was a carpenter. Still wasn't home. Oh, the other day I was going to have a cup of coffee. I have to start on my table with a cup of coffee. My coffee maker broke. Time to wait 48 hours for Amazon to deliver one. So I go to Walmart. I make a mistake of wearing a blue polo shirt. And I'm checking out this coffee maker. I was able to answer all the questions. And I told her about all the different kinds of coffee makers she could buy. And she brings out a Mr. Coffee. And so I put the Mr. Coffee in her cart, and just then 2 Walmart employees come up to me, and I'm in trouble. And they tell me, hey, it's break time. So I go to the break room, I have a cup of coffee, and to make a long story short, on Sunday I'm subbing for Sheila. And I bought a coffee maker with my employee discount. Okay, that's my time. Thank you.
All right, DDR doing his thing, huh? All right. I made a mistake already. I didn't even introduce myself. I am Tim Watson. Thank God for name cards. They said the first thing to go is the hearing. Not true. It's the hearing, the memory, and the erections. Sometimes on the same day. Okay? Can you imagine waking up to that?
Keep it PG.
Chicago has quite a few really great female comics, and we're very fortunate we have one here tonight. Give a warm round of applause for Ashley Lust.
Normally I get upset when I'm introduced as a female comic, but I get it. He lost his erection. So we needed to do something. Thank you so much, Tim. Give it up for him for throwing this together. This is amazing. A little bit about me. I used to work at Victoria's Secret and Chuck E. Cheese at the same time. Got hit on way more at Chuck E. Cheese than I ever did Victoria's Secret, but only when I was in the Chucky suit. I don't know if you know this, but there are a lot of furries in Aurora, Illinois. Yeah. They'd always come in and I'd have to scream out, the holes aren't where you want them to be! But they'd have scissors, so. Right? It's terrible, especially because that's the guy. Sorry, he's standing, not sitting. There's chairs right here. You could sit and be part of the audience.
I've been working all day.
You know what? You break my heart. You break my heart, just like my ex. I'm kidding. My ex didn't break my heart. He went to prison. Does anyone like people who do meth? I didn't even know it, too. I didn't even know that my ex was doing meth. He always was like, no, bad teeth run in the family. I had no idea. Have you ever kissed someone where the tongue just went right through? It's wild. His mom still messages me and says, when are you and Nicholas gonna get back together? And I was like, I can't, he's in Kentucky, you know? Because prisons are there too. But anytime he's out, I know it because he messages me on Facebook. And I'm like, oh my God, you made parole. That's amazing. I really like him. He's a good dude. We actually met at Kmart. Has anyone ever worked at Kmart or been to Kmart before? That was my first job when I was like 15. And then immediately after, all Kmart's closed down. But I worked there, and after 2 months, I got Employee of the Year. After working there for 2 months, because when I smiled, I had teeth. It was a whole thing. He was selling to everyone. That's where I met Nick. It is interesting though, because I did work at Chuck E. Cheese, and if you guys, clap it up if you're familiar with Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. Clap it up if you're banned from Chuck E. Cheese. We're trying to find out, okay? I'm still looking out for those kids. And also I have some deals. No, but at Chuck E. Cheese we solved everything using a token. So if a game was broken, we give you a token. If we messed up your order, token. Mom just died, token. You know? It solved everything. Except not the pain in this room. Oh wow, it just sucked out. I'm so sorry guys, but it's only gonna get worse from here. But at Chuck E. Cheese too, we had a thing called Kid Check. Kid Check meant we wouldn't let the runners leave, right? So kids, you know, would sometimes like try to escape, but we were only 16. And we made mistakes. Because one time there was this 2-year-old boy who just ran into the street and we were like, oh my God, he's gonna die! But thank God the little boy was good at Frogger. Yeah, because if not, we would owe his family 2 tokens. And that's just too much. Right? That's what I thought for a child's life. I'm sorry, it should be, they owe us tokens. I forgot what I was saying because I got interrupted. By a man who I talk to because I still need attention. Anyone else looking for attention? Here's the thing too, I realize I do have a type. It's not even meth guys, right? I do have a type. Coke dealers. Because recently I had a breakup and I found out that I was dating a guy who was selling Coke for the entirety of our relationship. And I had no idea. And here's the reason too. I don't do Coke, I don't drink, I don't do weed, and he was selling it this entire time. It was right under my nose. All I had to do was, and I would have found out, or started a business. I don't know. What happens when you do Coke? And I'm so mad too because he never took me out. He never did anything nice for me, which means he was just bad at it. Right? Like I could have sold it better than he could have. Had he just given me the supply. Okay. But I should have seen the signs too, because anytime I was trying to make like cookies or use flour, I'd like grab a bag and he'd be like, not that! And I was like, ah. And I never questioned it. I was like, oh, okay, he's really protective of flour. It is interesting, it is. Chuck E. Cheese, it is interesting too. I'm gonna go back to that because Kid Check wasn't just to make sure the runners, you know, didn't leave, right? It was also to prevent the kidnappers from kidnapping because we had a stamp system. And the stamps were, everyone who comes together, leaves together, they were invisible stamps. And if the stamps did not match, you'd have to interrogate the child. Right? Because that seems reasonable. Interrogate the child who they're with to make sure they're not being kidnapped. Because in that situation, of course, they're going to be like, no, not my dad. No, all right? If there's candy involved, they're going to go with the person. But anywho, there was a father-daughter duo, and the stamps didn't match. So I had to be like, sir, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to ask your daughter, this girl, who she is to you. And he got mad. And he was like, are you serious? Are you serious? You think out of all these kids at this Chuck E. Cheese, I'd kidnap her? I felt so bad. I was like, I'd kidnap you. But looking at my options, he was right. There were better. Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese is also against teen pregnancy. Did you guys know that? You're not allowed. Boo? Have you ever had sex? I'm sorry, is that mean? I'm so sorry. I'm being so mean to you. It's okay if you have or haven't. It's virgin. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm picking on a guy I don't know. They have islands named after virgins? Okay, I'm glad you've read before. That's so cool. Clap it up for these two who I made it awkward with. I told them to sit down and then immediately I insult them. Because that's what a professional does, okay guys? No, what? I thought you said the Jews. I was like, not now, dude. I'm not gonna get political. I don't know. All I know is I have a friend who's one and an enemy who's one, and I can't decide. You ever meet someone who's horrible and you're like, I get it. Okay, that was bad. Guys, I did have a rough week, though. I did. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about my family. Does everyone here have a family? Yeah, oh, that's why you guys aren't as into it, because you're all sad. I get it. I have a family. I actually was hanging out with my parents last year. I stayed in my old bedroom, and then at 7 a.m., my mom woke me up with a phone call, and she was frantic. And immediately she was like, Ashley, everyone's safe, isn't that great? And I was like, yeah, Mom, that's great. And she's like, Ashley, everyone's safe, isn't that great? I'm like, Mom, that's great. Everyone's safe, Ashley, isn't that great? I'm like, Mom, that's great. What happened? We hit your car. And I was like, what? And I hung up the phone immediately because I was so upset. Before I could do anything, she starts texting me, Ashley, whatever you do, don't tell your father. And I was like, why? And she's like, he's got a bad heart. And I was like, what? Okay. My dad has a bad heart? Why do I not know about this? I call my dad right away, immediately. Ashley, don't get mad about the car. No, Dad, it's fine. Do you have a bad heart? Yeah, how'd you find out? Mom told me just now. And then immediately he's like, nicely played, Denise. Nicely played. Because now I don't care about my car. I paid for it. I don't. I love my dad more. Actually, I did have, last week on Thursday, I had a feeling I was going to get laid off from my job. Because we didn't make bonuses, we didn't hit our sales targets for 2 quarters, which is pretty big in a corporation, and they don't really care about people. So immediately while I thought, she's talking about it too because she was also laid off. And it's okay, it happens. But I got laid off, and immediately during it, I had a bad feeling, so I called my dad and I was like, hey Dad, I think I'm going to get laid off. Just want to let you know I don't think I can financially support you and Mom the way I was before. And he was like, Ashley, that's fine, don't worry about it, everyone goes through this. And I was like, Dad, that's great, okay, cool. How's your day going? Oh, Ash, not great. And I was like, why not, Dad? He's like, test results came back, got cancer. And I was like, what? What? Dad, no! I hang up the phone, I go on Zoom to get fired, I'm bawling, and my director was like, wow, you really care about this company? And I was like, no, I was a time thief. My dad's got cancer. And then I had the audacity to be like, how dare you fire me on the day of my dad's cancer diagnosis? But he's doing okay. They caught it early, so I'm excited for him. You guys, I am going to end it on this. You guys heard of Lush Cosmetics? Clap it up if you know Lush. 1, 2, 3. Lush Cosmetics was the inventor of the bath bombs, right? I was a manager over there December 23rd, 2021. And I was so excited because I had an 11-day stretch, and instead of closing, they were going to let me leave at 7:30 p.m., which was like a Christmas miracle. I was so excited. And then at 7:15, we had an active shooter. Which is a weird time to find out you're no longer actively suicidal. Except my employees didn't know that, because they were like, Ashley, lock the door! And I'm like, I can't, I found God! And they're like, Ashley, you're the manager! And I'm like, I'm the assistant manager, get the store manager involved! Ashley, she's 8 months pregnant, I know, 2 against 1. But here's the thing about being in an active shooter situation, you want to message the people you care about the most, you know, to make sure that they know what's going on. So I messaged my boyfriend at the time and I was like, hey, I just want you to know I'm in an active shooter situation. I don't know what's happening, but I hope to come home to you. Also, what a weird time to be left on red. We stayed together for another 6 months. He had to break up with me, and here's the reason I think he broke up with me. Does anyone here like being called daddy in bed? Anyone? Papa, father, padre, whatever. Yeah? Papa? Over there. Got it. He never wanted me to call him daddy, right? He didn't have the confidence for it. He did, however, want to call me mommy. Yeah, well, he was halfway inside of me. I am so sorry. What I thought was halfway, but he was just doing his best. What do you say to that? But it's going to be okay. son. All right, guys, thank you so much.
All right, that was terrific. I actually liked you, huh? All right. Yeah, after you're into the cosmetics, I didn't know that. Can you do anything for the space? I know, but if you take the name Alejandro Lagunas, it equals Hondo. Where's Hondo at? There he is. Give a warm up. Give it up for Hondo. You were hiding out at us, man. All right, Hondo.
Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. If I'll start off by saying this, I've known Tim for a long time. I know Tim before COVID, what people call BC. If you're religious before Christ, if you're not, it's before COVID. So before I'm starting this off, it's my first time doing comedy. So now I'm playing. I say that because if it sucks, you know what I'm saying, you got a heart. You know? But follow me on YouTube, HONDO. Pretend like you give a fuck. Bunch of fun. You don't have to actually look it up. But HONDOLAGUNAS, and you still don't care, and that's fine. I'm giving you time, but fuck it, right? 2025, we made it, right? Yeah. Finally getting warm. Where my white folks at? I love you guys. Mexicans?
Right here.
Yeah, I know, segregation. No, I'm playing. I'm in front, I'm just bragging. I just said I'm just bragging down. That's what show off means. Oh, what other races are there? Oh, Puerto Ricans? No? Venezuelans? Oh, they took them all, huh? Man, Venezuelans made me feel like a real true American, man. One time I went to a store and there's two Venezuelans speaking Spanish, and Venezuelans speak different Spanish than Mexicans. Right, they're speaking Spanish, and I'm like, oh, why does motherfuckers speak English? And I was like, oh shit, that's what black people, white people always feel like. And I was like, fuck, I'm racist. And then I was like, oh fuck, this feels pretty good. I don't see what the big deal is, you know what I'm saying? I love when people talk about race and they always mention the year, right? Like it's supposed to do something. But I can't believe in 2025, people are still racist. Racism is not food, it doesn't expire. The day has nothing to do with it. It's all about feeling. Grandmother passed it down to her grandkids and it went on, you know? It's up to you to stop that shit, right? Fight the power. I'm not a political guy, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? That shit's gotta stop. I think racism, we get it confused with the times because nobody has accents anymore like southern white dudes, right? So you can be racist and not even know it, right? I get racist in traffic. Or if you get my order wrong, depends who you are. Like I don't see color, I just see facial features. I don't know who you are. This motherfucker. No, I'm serious, because nobody has accents in it. If you had somebody with an accent, you would know they're racist, right? If you went to and plus, real racists are confrontational. They don't just say shit when you cut them in line. They confront you, right? Like, you know, you don't belong here. I'm like, what? I said you don't belong here. If you talk to a real racist, they always have backup. Like, I can be anywhere I want to be. Like, you hear that, Billy Ray? Somebody's fixing for some trouble. I'm like, fuck. If they say that with overalls on, get the fuck out. If they're doing this, I heard somebody fixing for some trouble. Leave. They don't give a fuck. Plus, it's not that. It's not like I'm scared to fight or anything, but I know I'm not trying to get jumped. You know? Plus, I can't take a punch like I used to. I'm in my 40s now. You know, I used to take a punch and a stomach punch. Now, if you punch me in the stomach, I'm dropping like a baby. You know what I'm saying? It's my weakest spot. One time somebody punched me, like, I was like, oh. And they're like, I said, stop, motherfucker, shit, I give up. I'm done. I can't fight no more. Leave me alone. I know my stomach's fucked up because I'm in my 40s. One time I went out with my nephews and shit, we drank for 3 days straight. 3 days straight. I haven't done this since I was in my 20s. Okay? 4th day, in the house all day. Shitting all day, dude. Jesus Christ. You ever shit all day so much you become religious? Yeah. Like you just be like, oh please, my God. Oh my God. Fuck, dude. One time I was shitting so much I had my shirt over my head and I was like, I was even scratching my thighs not to feel the pain in the back. I'm like, oh, please make it stop. You know what hurts bad when toilet paper feels like sandpaper? You don't want to wipe no more than fuck. Jesus Christ. I even looked up for Amazon, they had chapstick for booty holes. I'm like, nope. Like, Jesus. I'm working on something, you know, bear with me. Bear with me. Oh, hey, why does everybody have the big deal about the Pope? I get it, he's from Chicago and shit, but like, I mean, like he got God's text message, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's up, you know? I heard some guy say, the Pope's a pedophile. Like, no, he's not. It's not been proven, and nobody knows it. But it doesn't help that he knows something. Like, fuck. You know he knows one or two. You know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't exclude you from the pack. All right, I've been married for a long time. My wife's my best friend. And I say that because if you can't get sex from your best friend, is that really your best friend? You know? Plus, this is how you know you've been in a relationship for a long time when a woman asks you a question like this. Like, baby, if I die, would you move on?
No.
Like, yeah. And the answer is, yeah, I'm not going to fuck a corpse. You know what I'm saying? Of course I'm going to move on. All right, if you want to hear more comedy you didn't want to hear, once again, follow me on YouTube. HONDO, still nobody, that's fine. LAGUNAS, still nobody, that's fine. And I will tag along. Thank you very much.
All right, that's Hondo for you, huh? Okay. Hey, can anyone whistle really loud? Like, no one? All right, nice. Give it up for the whistle, huh? This is like halftime almost at a football game, and we got to kind of get things going. Now, before I said I wasn't trying to lazy energy. Now, why don't we just build up some energy? Come on, everybody. Come on, let's build it up. Build it up, and I'll tell you why. We sent a limo for this guy. He does shows every month at the Laugh Factory. So, give it up for Steve Springer.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Let's raise the energy up a little bit. Again, my name's Steven Springer, like he said. And in case you're all wondering, I'm not the son of Jerry Springer. I found this out from Maury Povich. If I was Jerry's son, though, could you imagine that inheritance I would receive? The houses, the cars, the hookers. But I just want to tell you about my crappy week. Found out I didn't make People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive. 40 straight years. I know what I could have done or who I could have done, but on the other hand, I won the Mr. Potato Head Lookalike contest. But to show you how crappy my week was the other day, I got racially profiled. You believe that? White guys get that too. I was performing at a club on the south side where I was the only white guy. True story, I walk in there, everybody stops what they're doing, looks up and says, 5-0. You all know what 5-0 means, don't you? I guess it's code name for police in case you don't. But anyways, I had to explain to them that I'm a comedian. That's why I was there. They agreed, yeah, you look funny, but not ha-ha funny. But anyways, on the way home, I'm driving through the hood. And I'm Jewish, anything south of Skokie is the hood. For a guy like me that glows in the dark, it's what the safest place to be. Anyways, I'm feeling kind of unsafe. I'm at a red light. Car pulls up behind me, starts honking. Two guys get out and start banging on my window. What do you think I'm thinking? I'm getting carjacked. Not my $800 Impala, I'm thinking. So I roll down the window. Turns out the guys recognized me from the club and wanted to tell me how funny I was. True story. So I gave them some merch. And I took their wallets. You'd be surprised by the physique I've got now, but back in the 80s when I was young and buff, I was young, I was a bouncer on Division Street. And it's about what I'm about to tell you is hard to believe, but one night after closing, I'm clearing out the last of the customers when I spot none other than Bear quarterback Jim Harbaugh. You know him? Coach of the LA Chargers. And let's just say he was inebriated, very bad, very much so. So only spirals he was throwing, he wasn't throwing any spirals, so he caught him spiraling out the door. So anyways, he spirals outside to the sidewalk and sees a car passing and yells, "Hey you assholes, you're driving down the wrong side of the street." Being a Sunday morning at 2 a.m., Jim had a 50-50 chance of being right. Nope. Turned out to be an unmarked squad car. That's right, Jim Harbaugh challenged 2 Chicago cops to a street fight. And I don't think that's what Mike Ditka meant when he said, get aggressive out there. So the cops get out of the car. What's Jimbo do? He scrambles, he does what any elite quarterback would do. Scrambled back into the bar. And I was a bouncer, supposed to keep drunks out of the bar. I'm not running a witness protection program for drunken athletes. So anyways, cops chase him, and they end up arresting me too. I didn't get that. I wasn't drunk yelling at the cops. In fact, I don't even really like the Bears. Apparently the police were handing out warrants or arrests, like Oprah. You get arrested, you get arrested, you get arrested. You know what they charged me with? Conducting business after hours, a Class C misdemeanor. I wasn't conducting business after hours, I was conducting Jim Harbaugh to the nearest exit and failing miserably. You know what scared me the most? Wasn't being arrested. Sharing the jail cell with Jim Harbaugh and finding out the hard way that he's uncircumcised. But that was hard to get over. But what's ironic about all this is a few years later, I became a correction officer myself at Cook County Jail. So I've been both sides of the bars. But actually, I think a couple of you look familiar in here. Hello. Took me 15 years to figure out I didn't belong in jail. Some guys figured out 5 to 10. The only reason I even became a guard in the first place is I got bullied a lot as a kid. Anybody been bullied in here? As a kid? Those of you that didn't raise your hand, you probably were the bully. I figured when I got the badge and the uniform, the bullying would stop. It got worse. Now I was getting bullied by the inmates now. They would take my lunch money, like keep away with my whistle. And they even give me titty twisters and wedgies. The only thing that was